Let's talk about these bitches. Hey fam, welcome back to my channel. It is IJF. If you're new to my channel, welcome. And if you're returning back, welcome back. Before I get started, please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And also follow me on my other social media platforms because it does help out a lot. I want to thank all of my new followers. I really do appreciate it. I feel like it's nice to have people who probably think like me or against me nonetheless, but it's still, I don't know, it's really interesting to have people tune in. But let's get started with Girlfriends, okay? So I have been watching Girlfriends. Okay, I've watched it twice. I don't want to be ODing, and I do want to explore like whatever Netflix has to offer. But I've been watching Girlfriends a lot during this quarantine, and these bitches were not real friends to one another. I mean, their friendship was very complex. It was very entertaining. I mean, obviously, it was a satire on certain friendship groups that are particularly black and women. When you dive into the show and basically try to put yourself in that frame, you're like, these are not nice girls. Let me give you guys a short synopsis on how I got hooked onto Girlfriends. I think Girlfriends was on UPN. I probably was 8 or 9. I was kind of young. And I stumbled across it on TV. I think it was on UPN. And I'm like, oh my God. And I fell in love with it. Prior to watching Girlfriends, I was watching Sex and the City, which was a show on HBO, and it used to come on at night, and it was very inappropriate. But for me, it was the first time I saw a man and a woman have intercourse. I know, sounds crazy, but yes, Sex and the City was my first time seeing something like that. And again, I wasn't supposed to be watching it, but because the channels were there, and I would just be exploring. Sometimes on the weekends when I didn't want to go to sleep, I would just explore stuff that I shouldn't have been doing. And I think my parents put those parental locks on it. But anyway, back to Girlfriends. So after watching a bit of Sex and the City, I'm like, okay, this is like the black version of that. That's how I felt. But it's not the black version of Sex and the City. I mean, there are a few nicks and picks here and there. They're all women about their business. They're boss chicks. They have certain goals. They have certain goals and desires. They love money and gifts. You know, they're typical women, I would say. But anyway, back to Girlfriends. So I'm watching these 4 girls, and let's just break down the character chart. So now we have 4 different types of black women. And, you know, I love how the show tackles colorism, texturism. I mean, of course, at the time, I'm pretty sure those terms wasn't used as widely as it is now. But they covered HIV, they covered so STD issues, they covered sexuality, they cover racism. I mean, there was a lot. And then the cons were those same things, you know. So for example, Tony Childs and her mother being obsessed with her mixed baby's hair texture. Ugh. Joan calling Tony a tar baby. Darnell and William acting gay so they can get someone to buy their house. Well, Maya and Darnell's house. So this show did tackle many things. Let me talk about the 4 components that I broke down in this show that really kind of catered to me in my life and kind of turned it upside down. So 4 themes that was advocated throughout the show, okay? Let's start off with 1, love. So we have these women who are in their mid-20s, early 30s, obviously as the series progressed. And their love life is kind of similar to what my love life is right now in my 20s. Lynn is free-spirited, she's bisexual, or I think the correct term for Lynn would be pansexual. Women, men, bi, trans. She's very open, okay? She's very open, she's not into commitment, she's living for right now. Here for a fun time, not a long time, okay? Yeah, and that's on period poo. We have Maya. So Maya is married, so obviously she is seen as the pinnacle of what every woman wants in this friendship circle, you know. She's young, she's younger than the rest of the girls, she's married, she has a child, and of course with her relationship, she did get pregnant first, had the baby, and then they got married. And again, she seems like she has a perfect relationship until she starts hearing things about her husband, and his actions also kind of prove those, you know, hearsays or, you know, gossip. And then she starts doing her own thing emotionally, you know. So again, everything seems right until she starts doing that. And then we have Tony. Oh God. Tony is in love with the l'argent, okay? She loves money, 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 money. As long as you have Cartier on, or Kenzo, or Alexander McQueen, you are good with her. She needs brand. No, she's not talking about no booster who goes drop it off at your local, you know, nail salon and hair salon. No, no, no. She needs you to walk her inside of Saks Fifth Avenue and tell her that the world is her oyster, you know, and the store has been shut down. And if she likes, she can get a personal shopper. And of course, bring the Moeds. She's not a gold digger. Well, yeah, she is. She is an opportunist, and because Tony is so money hungry, she ends up in a situation with a man who basically, he's rich, of course, you know, he's a doctor, of course he's rich, but he's been living his life on credit. Everything, his lifestyle has been paid for on credit, on par. This becomes debt that he is immersed in, and he doesn't know how to find his way out of, you know. So Tony kind of, she shoots herself in the foot. She feels like as a beautiful woman, she needs to be chased and spinned on, and I personally agree 100% with that. We have, you know, Mr. William. He is the macho, sensitive, Republican, black, classist man in America who wants to find a black woman who loves him and treat him correctly, who is very conflicted because he wants to be a proud black man, but he also is entwined with corporate America. He's a lawyer and he wants to win there too. And I think many of us know you can't win on both of those fences. You got to choose one, and then maybe end up on one of those sides later, but you can't do both at the same time. So yeah, he's trying to navigate his professional world and also his personal world, wanting to fall in love and find the right woman that his mama likes and who's not a gold digger, and yada yada yada. And lastly, Joan. I don't know why I keep Joan last. I guess because I really like Joan. She's my favorite. Joan is a hopeless romantic who is so entangled in her mind that she oversteps in reality, you know. So she'll have a good guy wanting to pursue her, and she will let her friends overly criticize the man that she's with, and then she'll be like, oh well, maybe you guys are alright. Oh. Meanwhile, they'd be dating some dusty, crusty, musty dudes too, but yet she keeps her comments to herself and try to support them in what they do. But because she, again, of the crew, she's the doormat, they just spring it all on her, and she intakes that, and she's like, oh Lord, I don't think I want to continue this. So her dating life is a mess. She's very delusional. Her expectations are like up here, but then she dates down here, you know? So yeah, she's single, and not willingly single. As the series progresses, she becomes a little more tough about her friends. Like, you know what? I don't care about what y'all doing or what y'all say. I'm gonna do me. And while she's doing her, she is actually enjoying her dating life as she gets older. So it's just like, oh, finally, thank goodness. And she finds a man that, you know, who hold her down. I mean, again, I don't want to ruin the series for anyone, but he is the man that she needs and wants, but not the man, but not in the package she thought she would get him in. So I'll leave that out there for you all. Now let's talk about careers. Jen is a moocher. She is she's a huge procrastinator. I mean, she's also an overachiever. She's very aloof. I mean, with her career, she has what, 6 master's degrees or PhDs, but yeah, she doesn't have a stable job, and she is so afraid of stability that she is okay with living with her friend Joan for years. She's okay with doing side gigs, like being like a street dancer and a dog walker, because she doesn't really know what she wants to attach herself to. I mean, she does the documentary thing for a bit, but again, she is a girl who went to, I think, UCLA. It's a very, you know, prestigious school. Again, she has like 6 degrees, but yet she doesn't have a stable job. Like, we don't know what to call in, you know. And there's a scene in the series where Maya says, you are the joke that isn't funny anymore. Oof, child. Check that, as Phaedra Parks would say. That is a read. That's a dig. You're a joke that isn't funny anymore? Why exist? Okay, so yeah, she's a bum. She's kind of a loser. Sorry. Moving on. Maya. Maya is a secretary who later becomes a domestic known author. I was going to say world renowned. I think she says that to herself to kind of just keep, you know, herself in that writing mode. But girl, I don't think you were international. No. Yeah, she is, yeah, she works with, you know, she starts off as, again, she's a mom. She's a young mom in her mid-20s or early 20s. She's working for Joan and William. She always steals from them. Like, God, I'm talking about time, materials, just no shame, girl. Just, And she's also from Crenshaw. She makes it very clear that she's from the hood and she's not ashamed of it because she's still intelligent. Again, she's the black girl in the group who's always bringing up these conspiracy theories. And I think sometimes she kind of links it or connects it or add it into her book or her opinions and ideology. But yeah, her career is, I guess her career is what it means to be realistic and also just move with the times. You know, again, she was a secretary, became an author. Her third check, remember, had dried up, and I don't think she ever made any outreach to her company like, you know, I need more money. And even if you do stuff like that, it can be a little harsh. And she's not one of those people who would have been like, because some authors would be like, you know, I need a place to write, I need a retreat, I need an area, you know, the place that I'm at is not making me focus, so they'll fly you out to places. But she's one of those moms who she wanted to be a mom and a wife, so due to that, it made her career, it kind of put a dent on her career, you know. That's why she couldn't even go to school, because she had to get a babysitter for Jumanji, aka, you know, Jahanda, aka, you know, Kwanzaa, aka Jabari. Toni Chow. Toni is a real estate agent, and she seems like she's a good one, even though she never buys a house herself and lives in a condo. A 2-bedroom condo, by the way. But it looks like a rinkety-dink apartment, but she swears she is the queen of Elizabeth in England with that thing. But she's a real estate agent. She's doing okay with herself. She seems like she's in the right circles and networking, you know, areas where she can meet people to, you know, put her on, and that's all she needs. For her, she has the type of job that can get her paid and also personally get her, you know, linked to a nice, young, rich bachelor. It is what it is. But that's all that is to her. She never ever leaves that life of being a real estate agent or becoming this mogul herself. She basically gets married and tries to live on being a housewife while doing real estate on the side. And then, you know, life gets real tough when she is in a custody battle. Joan. We all know that Joan is a top-notch lawyer, but she doesn't take a lot of risks. Not like William. I don't know if you guys remember, for those who have watched, William is one of the lawyers, black lawyers that's in the firm, and he moved up before Joan, and Joan could have moved up with him, but I remember, I think in one scene they were working together and she didn't want to do him dirty, and he took the opportunity to do her dirty because, hey, black man, he could do stuff like that to a black woman. It is what it is. Chauvinistic way of saying, I'm the man, you know what it is. If I have to step over you to make it, let it happen. But anyway, she also had many opportunities where she could have moved up after, you know, working with William, but she doesn't take the opportunity to do so. And then when she does finally go up there, so when she does move to the next level, literally they actually moved to a next level on the in the building, she ends up quitting and becoming a restaurateur, aka a restaurant owner who basically eats her own food all day. And she wants to be a fashion designer, which makes a lot of sense because, well, let's be very clear, all of the women in that show are very fashionable except Lynn. Lynn is just very, you know, Lynn is like very bohemian hippie, and it's just too much free flowing. I wasn't really digging their clothes on Lynn, but the rest of the other girls, okay. Oh, honey, honorary mention from Miss Monica, okay? William Dent's wife, child, she was dressed to the nines. And that's another example of bougie black women. Her value, she was like Toni, but a much milder, better version of Toni. You know, she was all about the brands too, you know, finding the love of her life, a man who's in that certain, you know, bracket, but she knew how to go about it. She did, okay? So let's quickly talk about finances, because the finances are kind of connected to career. So with Lynn don't got a dime to her name. She lives off of credit too, and yeah, we don't know how her life ends up. She ends up going into music because that's the passion. So her hobby is really her passion. So she gets a little bit of money off of music. Okay, yeah, but throughout that, I want to be a office worker, a street dancer. She ends up being in music. Maya, again, the secretary who became an author, and then later she becomes a writer for her neighborhood watch or something like that. But she's still in the writing game, so she's still trying to be an author, or I'm sorry, release more books. And yeah, I think she's the author. Tony Childs is a housewife who ends up going back into real estate because the man she was trying to live off of leaves her in Cali to go to New York to be a plastic surgeon, and that's that. Joan on tour, who first has a struggling restaurant business after, you know, leaving her firm as a lawyer, and then she starts working at like a little hamburger or hot dog place. Again, she loves doing charity. Like even the men she was with charity. Yeah, she starts having a booming restaurant after William helps her make it into a sports bar because he owns partnership in it. So let's talk about the friendships, y'all. This is the best part. Lynn was a in-betweener. She's like one of those friends who's like Switzerland. Like she doesn't want to fight. She wants to be on everyone's side, and she's just there for the moment. She's one of those friends that she's the one everyone picks on because, again, she's a bum. She's too grown to be a bum. And again, she doesn't want to get on anyone's bad side because if she does, she's not going to eat a meal that day. Maya is the realistic one who keeps it sometimes a little too real, where again, it gets a bit harsh. It's just like, damn. Like when she would come at Joan for the type of men Joan would date, I'm just like, girl, you're having an emotional affair with a man who starts hanging out with you and your family like a creep. Like, you have no place to judge at all, miss. Oh, hell no. But she's realistic, tough love type of friend who doesn't mind getting it on and popping. Yeah, she will throw the first blow like she did at the club when Joan was like acting like a Karen. Oh my god! Oh my god! Tony's a tough friend. Tony is selfish. Tony is shallow, and Tony is hurt, you know? So to cover up the wounds and everything that she feels, because remember, Tony is a country bumpkin. She's from Fresno, and she is the girl who found Joan and latched on because Joan was obviously the opposite of her, you know, like Ebony and Ivory. She needed someone to go to because she had like a bunch of siblings and no one was paying attention to her, and her mom was an alcoholic. So Tony is pampered by Joan, where I don't know, I think it just goes to her head. But she's not a great friend, and she's not reliable. She's not reliable. She's terrible. She's a terrible friend. I think she did Joan dirty, you know, from the way she reacted to the court thing was tough, but she done worse things. Joan is a pushover. Joan also likes being in charge. She likes being in charge so much that she doesn't know when to like fall back. Like with her Christmases, with her hosting parties and cooking and always paying for dinner. Like Joan is an only child, and she also needs projects to work on. So occupying herself with her friends makes her happy, because I think without them, she feels like there's not much purpose, or life would be so bland. It's just like, oh, well, I think everyone thinks that way. But with Joan, she specifically was okay with dealing with her friends' BS just to be a friend. Like, oh, well, they may not, like, she's the type of friend where they would talk to her about their issues, but when it's time to lend an ear or advice, they're like, oh, girl, I gotta go. You know, they leave her stranded, which is kind of messed up. But they kind of made up for it in the end, you know, where they help, you know, homeboy do his thing for Joan in the end. But Joan is the one who takes the brunt of everything in that relationship. Anyway, fam, thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed my video, please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe as always. And also share your thoughts in the comments below. I love talking to you guys about these type of stuff. And yes, please share. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.